everybody, it's Anna. So we're all about to enter into the year 2020, and that is the number 4 year. And the number 4 in numerology is connected to feeling stabilized or balanced. So it's about creating a good foundation on which you can build the rest of what you're doing. So because of that, I wanted to share with you something that has really helped me become more stabilized in my own spiritual journey. And that is the understanding that inspiration on its own doesn't get you there. So inspiration, I think of as the voice of our soul. It's the voice of our genius. And it's the part of us that's very playful and energetic and excited about new things. So there's a vision for what it wants to accomplish. And you can tell when it's speaking to you because you suddenly have a light bulb go off in your head and you get interested or curious about something. You get excited about something. So you start turning your attention to that and you start kind of following that. And when you do, it's like you take a leap forward. You get it. You're not in your physical reality anymore. You're in this imaginative state of power and excitement. So you leap forward and you feel unstoppable. You feel so excited. And then the ego mind catches up with you. The ego mind closes the gap. And then it does what the ego mind is supposed to do, and it starts to create resistance. Because the job of the ego mind is to keep us safely secured in the status quo, what we already know, and to avoid the unknown. So when you hit that, when the ego mind catches up with you, you discover you hit a resistance point. And you start doubting yourself, you start asking questions, you start feeling like your energy starts being sapped, you start feeling a little scared, a little icky, and or you actually just come up with a theory that you're going to delay. Well, I'll just wait a week, I'll wait a month, I'll wait a year, whatever it is, before I take that action. When you do that, though, it's not a delay, it's a stop. The ego mind has stopped you, which is its purpose. So it's important to realize when that happens, when you hit your resistance point, you don't feel inspired anymore. You feel you've lost the inspiration. And then you have to decide if you're still committed to it. You have to decide, do I really believe a week ago when I was inspired, do I believe in that? If so, it's still true. Even if I don't feel like it's true, it's still true and I'm still going to move forward. Or do I now believe the ego mind's version of things, which is that this is a bad idea and I was mistaken and I should stop or I should delay. And what happens in that point is really you're a little bit on your own because the soul doesn't argue with the ego mind. When you hit the resistance point, the soul waits for you to make your decision. The soul doesn't fight with the ego mind because when you fight with something, you give it power. So the soul waits and sees if you have the fortitude to pass over this obstacle. So if the obstacle stops you and you bounce back, the inspiration will go quiet for a while. It won't talk to you because it's almost like you have to recover from this setback. But if you can, when you encounter the obstacle point, if you can remember what your inspiration was and you can still commit to it and you're willing to encounter that feeling of insecurity, that fearfulness, that risky feeling, if you can push through it, you discover the path is waiting for you. It's ready to open up for you. You just had to push through to get there. And this happens every time you follow your inspiration. At least in my experience, it never doesn't happen. So it's important, if you know that, if you know going in, every time you feel inspired, if you know you're going to hit that point, then hopefully you become less susceptible to it. And then you become stabilized, which is the number 4 lesson. You become stabilized. When the ego mind throws things at you, you can recognize what it is, not get thrown by it, and continue on the path that you already set for yourself. It's kind of like falling in love. When you first meet someone and you fall in love, you have this exhilaration, you feel powerful, you feel you're the best version of yourself. And you leap forward into that relationship, into that experience of love. Then the ego mind closes the gap. And that's when you start feeling insecure about your relationship. You start seeing patterns, your old fears, your old anxieties. You start anticipating problems aren't even there, that kind of thing. And you have to decide if you made a mistake. If your feeling of exhilaration and connection was a lie, and this person's the wrong person and you have to pull out, or if this resistance point's just a threshold moment where you can push past, if you'll push past it, the relationship deepens and changes. So anyone who's been married or in love or in a relationship for any amount of time has experienced that resistance point and pushed through it and knows what I'm talking about. Well, that's how the spiritual journey works as well. You have to push through those moments where you doubt yourself. Remember that you believe in yourself and commit to that faith when it feels as though your faith is not actively speaking to you at that moment. So people have asked me if it's so easy to hear your inspiration, and it is. And if it's so easy to clear your obstacles, and it is. And if the universe is conspiring all around you to help you, and it is, then why don't we have the lives we're manifesting? Why do we feel so stuck? This is it. This is the reason we get stuck. Because every time we feel inspired, if you bounce off that obstacle every time, then that's your experience. You tell yourself inspiration only lasts for a day, a week, a month, and then I bounce off and I'm back where I started. But the reason you're back where you started is not because your inspiration is not powerful. It's because you keep getting stuck at that one block, that one obstacle point. And if you can just push past it, you'll discover the whole world is waiting for you on the other side. Hope that's helpful for you, and have a wonderful New Year's. Bye.